Welcome to episode 21 of The Sober Stretch, the podcast for anyone with a drinking problem, anyone who feels like their alcohol abuse is getting out of control. My name is Gary. I am one of your hosts. This is Craig, my friend. We are 12 years sober collectively. And if you've got any issues with boozing, we are the podcast for you. Craig, how are you, man?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. You?
Yeah, I'm all right. I feel a bit under the weather and a bit throaty and weak.
Same, but I fucking moan so much when I'm ill, mate. You just get on with it. I need to take a leaf out of your book.
Oh, mate, I'm not sure, man. Like, I'm standing in the kitchen. My partner and the kids have just nipped out to the aquarium to buy some tropical fish. But
Sick.
I was like standing in the kitchen, like,
Yeah.
And like my partner is like hard as nails, man. Stoic, relentless. Like, just.
I feel like that's the way of the world now. Like, we're just like men when we're ill. We're just, oh, mate, everyone knows about it when I'm ill. I've been ill this week. I've been throwing up, and then now I think I've got COVID and that. Everyone fucking knows about it, man.
Yeah, pathetic, isn't it? Do you know, when I woke up this morning, I had earache, headache, and a sore throat. I feel a lot better than I did when I woke up at 7:30. But when I woke up and I knew we were doing this, because we often do it on a Saturday morning, I thought, oh God, this is so preferable to a hangover. And 10 years down the line, I'm still thinking like that. I'm like, oh, this is heaven. I'm ill, but I'm not hungover.
Yeah. And isn't it mad that how you feel now is very similar to a hangover, but you would have chosen to give that to yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucked.
It's crazy, isn't it? Choosing to write your weekend off because of Friday night is, at the time, it's just part of the package, isn't it? It's part of what has to come your way. It's tough shit. You're going to have to write a day off just to have fun for 6 hours. It's weird.
Yeah. More than a day in my case, though. More like fucking 3 days, 4 days.
15 years.
Pros and cons, eh?
Well, yeah.
So today, I'm actually pretty buzzing for this one because I'm sure we've got some fucking sick stories to tell and find out about each other as well, which always cracks me up when you say something and I'm like, yeah, that's fucking joke. So today, I'm pretty buzzing about this one. We are going to talk about the risks that come with drinking. Not exactly health-related risks, because that'd be a little boring, but just some of the shit that can go with drinking and how you can really fucking nearly kill yourself by doing stupid shit, in a nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds dramatic, but it's true. I feel from my 15-year boozing session, it's a miracle I didn't die. I think of all the I can't think. They'll come up as we start talking, but off the top of my head, nothing's springing to mind straight away. But there must have been at least 30, 40, 50 moments where, in another world, it could have gone wrong and you're not here any longer. Just the weird situations you get yourself in that at the time maybe feel a bit normal, and when you're lying in bed and you're hungover the next day, you think, oh God, that was a bit crazy. And then when you get sober, you look back on it, you think,
yeah,
why I'm dicing with death?
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. You think it's funny the day after, like the morning after, you think it's funny and you're like, cool, blah, blah, blah. I'm wild. Look at me, fucking. Do you know what I mean? And then as the day goes on, if you haven't had a drink, you start thinking, fuck me. What was I doing? I've got so many. I guarantee I ain't got so many. I'll go blank. But I can recall quite a few times where I've really, really, really nearly done something devastating because I was under the influence.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I had done a full-on bender. I hadn't slept, so I'd been up all night around my mates, done a load of gear, and then I come home to my mum's house, had a bath, and fell asleep in the bath.
Whoa.
3 hours, and my little sister, bless her, she ended up waking me up, and it's just like, fuck, man, like, I did not give a shit at the time. I was like, so what? I'm having a snooze. Do you know what I mean? But you can't. Any normal person would say you can't just fall asleep in a bath. And I was in such a deep sleep, I just would have gone.
And you know, then your little sister has to live with that for the rest of her life potentially.
Exactly.
Walking in and seeing your,
Exactly.
dead body in a bath, and it didn't happen.
No.
I've fallen asleep in a bath on a Sunday night. Similar circumstances, but I actually recall and waking up. So I wasn't asleep for hours, but I must have just drifted off. And you know, you're right. At the time, you just don't care, do you?
No.
You're oblivious to the dangers around you, and how is it like it's self? Is it self? What's the word? Is it selfish of you to behave like that, to put yourself in such a precarious position that might impact your sister's life, forever?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It is fucking selfish. Obviously, you're not doing it on purpose.
no.
I didn't think, oh, I'm gonna go home and have a kip in the bath. But of course, it's fucking selfish because you've chosen to get out of your head and not sleep. Like, that's just ridiculous. But yeah, it just shit like that doesn't happen when you're sober. Like, you just wouldn't do that.
Well, I've been sober for 10 and a half years, and I've not had any near-death experiences. Christ, touch wood, like. But I've not had any near-death experiences, surprisingly, since like the day I got sober. Oh, what a fucking surprise!
Yeah.
15 years of caning it. I am telling you, not right now. There are, I don't know how many, but if I sat, they'll come up as we start talking. But I went to Cardiff to watch United in the League Cup final years ago. Liverpool beat us 2-0.
Fucking hell.
I know, yeah. And we went on the Friday, and on the Sunday night, I mean, you can imagine the weekend. On the Sunday night, I was playing drums with two sticks off a tree in the middle of an A road, just like my mate's like, "Get out of the fucking." Actually remember it. Get out of the fucking road. I was like, "Sure, you know, babe. All right, the cars will stop." Like, come on, man. Like, get a grip.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah,
family.
I know.
It's not funny. It's stupid, and it's not cool and clever. It's dumb as fuck, man.
I just think every time you choose to get out your head, like, I'm not saying every time you have a drink,
No.
every time you get fucked and choose not to sleep and do all the other stuff as well, which I used to do every weekend, or nearly every time I drank. I think every time you do that, you are gambling with your life.
Mm-hmm.
How many people do you hear about now that have passed away because they had a heavy one and they done a load of gear? It's a massive killer.
What, this like accidents on the sesh?
Maybe not
Or
accidents so much on the sesh, but getting fucked and then having accidents and or having a heart attack or something like that.
Yeah.
I did say this wasn't going to be all health related and that, but it's relevant.
Well, I think the health related risks are like long term and over time, aren't they? And they increase with the years. So like risk of heart attack, long term, when if if you're drinking and smoking all your life, you're going to get dementia at some point, likely. Heart attack risk, liver function not great. All those things are obvious, and they're just You know, everybody knows about that. Well, do you know what? A lot of people don't. I didn't know that alcohol was carcinogenic and was caused 7 cancers until I started Sober and Sound.
Fucking hell.
But the risks you take, and I think this might correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, well, there are different ones for males and females, aren't there? The risk of getting in a fight. I know of a couple of people who have passed away, not necessarily friends, but people who have passed away from getting punched and knocking their head on the curb. Game over. That's it. Done. You
Yeah,
know. And you're playing with fire,
mate, I got
and
beaten
that
loads
was
of times.
never. Sorry.
I got beaten up loads of times. Well, not loads of times, but I got beaten up. I never beat anyone up when when I was drunk. Not that I have when I'm sober either, but I've never got in stupid random fights when I've been sober. But I remember once I got absolutely peppered in a kebab shop once, mate, by this geezer. I was steaming. It's quite funny thinking about it now, but I was steaming, and I don't know why, but I chucked my kebab at him. Turns out he was quite tough, and he hammered me, man. Like, he hammered me, and I was saying, I've had enough. I was pissing out with blood. My lip was clean, split open, and they've locked this geezer out, and I'm like cowarding in this kebab shop, mate, locked. Like, they're fuming because they've got no more business. But shit like that just doesn't happen.
It's just the indignity of it all, isn't it? It's pathetic.
Yeah.
Grown men.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this and you were one or you are one of those people, don't worry. Craig and I class ourselves as previously pathetic as well.
Yeah.
It's too risky. It's too risky. The inhibitions. I don't think anyone thinks, "Oh, I'm going to stop drinking so I don't accidentally die one day." No one thinks like that, but
No.
it's definitely something to consider. You know, some of the states you get in when you get properly on it, you know. Oh.
All your senses go out the window, don't they? And all your, what's the word? All your sensibleness just fucking disappears, and you just do the most stupid shit. Like, some memories are funny, but there's been a lot of near fucking near misses. Like, in lockdown, this is just going to be like storytelling. I won't bore you to tears with all my stories, but another one was in lockdown. All I done was drink. Literally, all I done was drink. There was nothing else. I would be working from home, and I would be getting flat out from like 10 in the morning. And one of the weekends, we went for a bike ride because there was literally fuck all to do, and everyone was doing this jump. But these guys had ridden bikes and shit. I hadn't ridden a bike for fucking years, and I tried doing this fucking jump, and I just knew it weren't going to go well, but I didn't care, and I've ended up hitting this thing hard, flipped over the handlebars. It's on video somewhere.
I think I've seen it. Is it one of your reels?
Yeah. And I flipped over and just landed on my shoulder, but fucked my shoulder. But if that was my neck, that's night. Snap neck. See ya.
Yeah. Lucky boy.
That was 4 Henry Westons deep, maybe more.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Oh, the cider. It's
wow.
8.2% heavy stuff.
Oh, right. Okay. Proper alky stuff.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
You know, it's like, I think when people are heavy, I guess the whole point of this episode is to just remind people that binge drinking is as dangerous a game as you can find. Okay, I don't mean it like that. Obviously, you're dicing with death if you are taking fentanyl. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, in terms of like a sort of standard cultural norm, like heavy binge drinking at the weekends, which is common in this country, you never think something's going to happen to you.
No.
But the risks are real. I mean, like we talk about getting beaten up. I got beaten up, which I've mentioned before, but I got beaten up so badly one night by a group of Chelsea fans, and it was all my own fault. I
can imagine.
Do you know what? It was. I think I'll text my mum and say, "Don't listen to the episode tomorrow." I was so my band were playing in Kingston one night on a Friday, and we were the last band on. We were the headline band, and I had the day off, and I was in my local at 11 a.m. and we were on stage at 11 p.m. So I had a 12. I could barely stand up when we did the sound check, and my band was slowly getting really vexed with me and didn't want me to. This to be that I got fired. They let me go after this.
Liability.
Do you know what? At the time when so basically, so I'm not jumping in the timeline. On stage in London, I'm Northern. I've been drinking for 12 hours, and I start giving shit to if you're from the south. Pathetic, going on about how great Manchester is. If it's that great, why don't you live there, dickhead?
Yeah.
And I asked them outside after the gig, and they duly obliged, and they were stamping on my head, kicking me in the face. It was awful. And I checked myself out of hospital. I can't remember the timeline, but anyway, an ambulance came and got taken to hospital, bandaged up, and I checked myself out of hospital the next morning so I could go and watch United Liverpool. I rocked up to my friend's house, like Eleanor, she's like one of my closest, longest friends from school. I went round to her house to watch United. She's a United fan, and I rocked up and I had a bandage, like drenched in blood, around my head and black eye, split lip, like my face was absolutely battered. Same clothes, covered in blood, and I had a plastic bag with beers in it.
Yeah.
That's how much of a grip it had in me.
And I bet you was like, yeah, I'm not going to miss United Liverpool, am I? Thinking you're the man. Yeah.
I'm so cool. Mate, come on. What's wrong with you? I was 26.
Health. Could have had a bleed in the brain or something and fucking...
Mate, exactly. That evening I went home, and my girlfriend at the time, she'd worked in a bar and she'd been working the day shift, and she came back and she saw the state of me, and I told her that I'd checked myself out of hospital, and she demanded that I go back to hospital to get a scan on my buns. Things like that were common. How lucky are you?
I know.
When I got sober, I really looked back on a lot of those incidents and thought, wow, just lunacy.
It's quite overwhelming, isn't it? Because it's the first time that you've ever actually had the chance to think logically about all the things that you've done.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why a lot of people feel guilt and stuff like that, and all these different emotions, because you've acted like such a prat so long. And think of the knock-on effect of that. So it's not just you that you're affecting. Really, you don't give a shit at the time, but the stress of your girlfriend at the time. Why does she need to come home from fucking work and see you in a state like that? She doesn't deserve it. Your friends are probably like, yeah, it's funny, but are you fucking alright?
Yeah.
So it's just the knock-on effect. I'm not trying to make you feel bad.
No. But to be fair, if you're listening and it makes you feel bad, well, hopefully that'll, I wish someone had said to me, sat me down and got, right, hey, mate, do you know how many people die through weird drunk-related accidents every week across the world? Your time is coming. I don't know how it would have impacted me. I would have probably laughed it off, but the reality was close to the line. I've got a mate who one night ran from a taxi, and
I've done that as well.
the taxi driver wasn't having it, mate. He went right after him. That he managed to get him. My mate slipped over a fence. He jumped over the fence and got him, and he had a knife at my mate's throat.
No.
He, pay me my money, man. Pay it now. So my mate had loads of cash on him as well. He's like, there you go, fucking. Come on. How many things possibly could happen? It's scary,
mate. It is, isn't it? And all it would take, that taxi driver, do you know what I mean? If he had a bad day,
yeah,
he might have not just threatened. Do you know what I mean?
Or
he's a little bit loose or looser. Obviously, he's fucking loose because he's carrying a knife. But
yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just crazy how you would think to do some of the things that you do are normal, and you think it's a laugh and stuff like that. It's like you're gambling with your life. Do you know how fortunate we are? I say this all the time. The spiritual me. How fortunate we are to be alive. We're not in a war-torn country or anything like that, and we don't. It's as if we're not thankful for it, and we're still acting like fucking twats.
Yeah. It's like
And then
how much do you value your life?
exactly. And then so many people don't get lucky like us, because we are fucking lucky. Jesus Christ. So many people don't get lucky, or they'll have less chances and they won't live to see the other side.
Yeah. Or something will happen and it'll be, a lifelong affliction. How many people have you heard of that jumped into a swimming pool and broke their necks because they've been on the piss all day?
Yeah, and then they can't fucking walk again.
I
Or
know of
something.
a person. I know of one of my parents' friends that happened to their son. So it's close to home, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know someone that knows someone that something like that's happened to,
Oh, mate.
which suggests it's everywhere. And I think you're right. It's about the lack of gratitude, or the lack of value you place in your own life. When you're drinking like we were, I didn't value my life at all.
Nah, neither did
I
I.
was my addiction meant that I valued alcohol more than my life, and not just in the picking up of the drink, but all the potential disasters that can come with it. How one of those kicks could have just been an inch to the left, and boom, like I'm dead on the floor.
Yeah, done.
All because I wanted to be like some edgy singer in a band,
Yeah,
mate.
and the sad thing is, everyone listening and me, we know that's not actually you.
Mm-hmm.
Not actually you. You're just, because of booze, it's taken over and turned you into someone that you're not. And you've got yourself into so much shit for it.
It's a really good point, isn't it? I saw a post from a woman, I can't remember which account, but like a prominent enough account on Sober Instagram, saying you're going to find, it's like that. It's the journey of self-discovery when you get sober, but you actually might find you have no idea who you are
Yeah.
when you get sober.
I
And then
felt
when
like
you
that.
look, sorry?
I felt like that. I felt like I didn't know who I was, what my interests were, what I actually enjoyed doing. And it was fucking weird waking up from that whole thing and then thinking, this is actually what I enjoy. I actually want to play football again. I actually want to go to the gym and run and stuff like that. And when I was drinking, I had absolutely no interest in that at all.
Mm.
So I can relate to that.
Yeah, no interest in things. It's a very general word, but no interest in activities, no interest in people that don't drink, no interest in self-betterment, no interest in any kind of hobby. Just drink, 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 drink. So you are not yourself. So when these
No.
things happen, or you do these things under the influence that are dangerous and risky, it's true. It's not you.
Yeah.
It's not you. So if you're doing these things, and you know that you pose a risk to yourself when you get smashed, you're allowing the drink to create this dangerous character that could possibly take your life away from you.
Yeah. Take future opportunities away from you because everyone thinks that you're a prat, but really you're actually a nice, sensitive person who's got empathy and a soul, but they don't see that side because you're always intoxicated, acting like someone else that is taking all your opportunities and everything away from you.
Mm. Yeah, like this nasty alter ego that you have.
Yeah, literally. Like I have sympathy for people now just because I know what it's like. And I don't know, say Gary from down the pub, yeah. Everyone's like, oh, Gary's a twat. Gary's this, Gary's that.
Sounds familiar.
But that's because they will literally only see one side of you. They will only see you giving it the big one down the pub, thinking you're the nuts, having an answer for everything, being argumentative. They don't see you at home with your family, being a good person. I'm not. This is literally, by the way, no way you. But I'm just saying that alcohol causes such a false perception of you or people in general that it's like a huge mask, and not a good one either.
No. Yeah, I mean, you might start when you're younger using the drinking as a mask to create or embellish your character. Like I said last week, I think about the pros of drinking. Oh, it made me confident to chat to girls. You know,
Yeah,
yeah. Beyond that, what is there?
I know, and
That's
that's another thing.
I lost
But
my train of thought there. Sorry, but
no, that's all right. But I was just thinking, imagine, like this. This must be extremely common. So you need to have a few drinks. I remember I went on a date and I had 5 drinks before I went, and obviously I've turned up, giving it Jack the lad, thinking I'm hugely confident. Da 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 da. This date was fucking well weird, by the way. We ended up sleeping in my car. It was fucking bizarre. It's the first time I thought about that in ages. But the next day, or the next day up, when you eventually go on a date and you can't drink, they must think you're completely different. Like, who are you? You ain't got no jokes to tell. You're not confident. You're not funny.
Yeah.
So they've fallen in love with this person, or not, maybe not fallen in love. That's a bit deep, typical of me. But they know this person who doesn't actually exist. So what do
Yeah,
you
that's
do?
powerful. Yeah.
What do you do? Drink every time you see them.
Yeah.
That's what happens
It is what
sometimes.
happens. It is what happens.
Because
But
you need that. You need a drink to bring that person back.
people fall in love with a person that doesn't exist. That's heavy, man.
That's interesting, isn't it?
It is, yeah. What a con.
Yeah.
What a con. And I think when you're deep in it, you don't realize, do you? You don't realize. You think you have to drink to be the person that you want to be. Oh, well, I'm going out second date. I've got to have a few beers because I created this persona last week and I think she was into it.
Yeah.
How about you stop drinking and maybe show your true character
Yeah.
with its flaws and show a
Yeah.
bit of vulnerability? It's okay to be vulnerable, but I think young lads, especially 20 somethings, you're still trying to figure yourself out. I mean, everyone is at that age, but like young lads, I think more so. I think women grow up quicker than blokes, and I certainly was trying to like find the correct persona that worked for me, and I couldn't find it because it was all hidden by alcohol.
Yeah.
I didn't let I was vulnerable, I was emotional, but I was 24. I had to be Gary, the lead singer of Social Ignition. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? It's tragic when you look back on it.
But that's because you've never given yourself the chance. You've all you've known from leaving school. You liked how you
Yeah.
felt the first couple of times. You got pissed. You was think about it. Think about like when you have a drink, you're confident for the first time. You're confident. You'll talk to people that you never talk to because at that age we're socially awkward. It just kind of like accelerates you, and you like who you become, and then you have to keep doing it to bring back that person.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a big part of alcohol addiction, isn't it? That you need to drink to get to go from insecure you to confident you at the fastest rate of knots. It's funny because now, with the length of sobriety I've had, I'm way more confident now than I was then.
Yeah.
Just the false sense of bravado is
100%.
wow.
100%. Imagine going to a pub that only sold soda water and lime. Imagine the difference in conversation.
Mm.
People would actually be watching the football.
Yeah.
Or if there was boxing on, no one would be giving it the big one, saying, "Oh, I'd knock him out, blah blah blah, he's shit, this that and the other."
Yeah.
There might actually be a few logical conversations in there.
Yeah, like, pugilism as an art form is fascinating. Look at these men. Look at the dedication over 6 months to get themselves into this condition.
Yeah.
I fucking knock him out, the pussy. Like, mate, you ain't knocking
Yeah.
anyone out.
Yeah. Yeah, you literally couldn't beat an egg.
But
yeah.
why do we get into that situation? I think you're right. I think it's a confidence thing, isn't it? Well, I can only speak for men because I am one. And I felt a massive need to embellish my existing character, which looking back was a mistake because I think I've got plenty of character as a sober person.
Yeah, you do, man.
And we missed all those, people didn't get the best get the best of me for all those years, and that's sad for myself, but it's also sad for others. It's sad for my parents that couldn't watch me thrive. But like when you're an alcoholic, I don't know, like you and I were just pretty much pissed all the time, weren't we? So it's hard to think with any kind of clarity. There are all kinds of different alcoholics. We've talked about it being a spectrum. So, in some ways, what's harder is being a red wine every night kitchen alcoholic, but having the daytime with clarity to understand the bad part of your drinking. What's worse? Or is that worse than being a daytime heavy non-stop drinker who never gets a chance to look at it, but really deep down is lost and miserable? That was sorry everybody who had to listen to that shit sentence, but you know what I mean? Like, there are different types. You and I were the type that we never had any opportunity to think about life or analyze ourselves because all we did was drink. And then
Yeah.
you've got others who might think, "Oh God, every morning I wake up and I hate myself." I didn't wake up and hate myself. I just woke up and thought, "Oh God, to get fucking hammered again."
Same.
It's weird, you almost don't have time.
I think both are bad, obviously, but I'm confident in saying that the more you drink, the worse it is.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious, but both are bad because I know what you're saying. If you're a weekend drinker, then there is more time for you to actually think and feel uncomfortable with your thoughts. Whereas if you're pissed all the time, you don't have to feel uncomfortable as much because you're always drinking. But the days, I can imagine, like, if you're just a weekend drinker, the days are doable and you can probably still have joy. Whereas when you're on a level that we were, where we were drinking to stop having fucking panic attacks and shit like that,
survive. Yeah.
drinking to survive, them hours where you're sober are awful, absolute. I can't think of a bad enough descriptive word to explain how bad I felt. It was just like overwhelming stress to the body, and that's the worst thing, mate. The worst. Like feeling that you need, mate. The things I would do to have a drink when I felt like that were unreal. I would literally go to Sainsbury's before work at 8 a.m. to cane a drink back. To knock a drink back to feel normal. Being my head's gone. Being Weatherspoons early doors, drinking whiskey to not feel like how I felt.
hiding away from the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you wake up. My thing was Monday morning. I spent a lot of Mondays in the pub when I wasn't at work because it
Yeah.
was the only place.
Safe house.
Oh, it was the only place and the only environment where. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was miserable as sin for most of the day,
Yeah.
but at least I had a drink to
To
take the edge
survive.
off.
To
Take the edge
literally
off the
survive, innit?
torture. For what?
Survive, innit? It's like
Yes.
survival.
Also, I mean, going back to the risks. If you start drinking in the mornings as often as you and I did, you you're presenting yourself with so many more chances of having something bad happening to you. You know, because come like tea time, you're midnight drunk. You know?
Did you used to drink drive?
No, I've done it twice in my life, I think. No.
That's another thing. This is
I
actually,
lived in London though, so it was like, oh,
yeah.
I just took the underground and the trains everywhere.
Yeah. This is actually shameful for me to say, but I'm gonna say it. I got done for drink driving. I lost my license for 20 months. I think I blew 82. Yeah. That did not stop me. After and bearing in mind, this policeman, yeah, has told me you could have killed someone's family, you could have killed kids, da 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 da. I did not give a fuck. I thought the policeman was a wanker. I thought he was a wanker for pulling me over. And I remember when I was in the motor on the way to the cell, I think I said to him, "How long until I'll be out?" Because I still wanted to go out after.
Yeah. Wow.
And that didn't stop me. I moved to Leeds, and then when I moved back, I had to rent a car to go and get all my stuff. And just to get up there, I had to drink on the way because my anxiety was so fucking bad and I couldn't deal with doing a normalish thing without drinking. So on the way up there, I must have had 6, 7 gin cans, the little gin cans, just
While
on
you
the
were
way up
driving.
there whilst driving. That's how bad my my addiction was, and how selfish and dangerous for everyone that was on the same road as me.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, it's one of the must be one of the top examples of non-health related drinking risks.
Mm.
You know, you're driving a metal box around willy nilly without a care in the world.
Yeah, but I
Doesn't
felt like I had to because this
doesn't
is
end,
the thing.
doesn't end well for everyone, but yeah, you had to.
I had to. People who haven't had a drink problem won't understand it, but if you have had a drink problem, you might understand where I'm coming from. I literally felt like I would, because I wasn't comfortable sitting with my thoughts for that longer period of time. I was stuck on the motorway. I felt restricted, and I needed that to relax me.
Yeah. Now, for anyone that thinks you're asking for a sympathy vote, that's definitely not the case. You know, you were an absolute shitbag doing that,
Oh
didn't
mate,
you?
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
scum.
Because I know
Scum.
you, man. I know you. That doesn't sit right with you.
Nah. But
And again, that's the fact that the true character, the true Craig, didn't exist under
exactly.
the cloak of alcoholism. You
Exactly.
know, you are a good lad. You care about people. You're ashamed of these things, just like I am. You know, taking your life, taking someone else's life into your drunken hands is
Yeah.
what.
It's so bad. So bad. And what you just said there is the real Craig didn't exist. It's because I didn't want him to exist because I felt uncomfortable. So I had to.
Yeah,
Mad, isn't it? Mad.
a liquid.
Mm. So things could have been a lot worse for us.
Yeah, do you know what? It's just, it makes me sad to think that
Same, mate. Same.
we had so much about ourselves, like everyone does. Everyone's potential is massive, and
Yeah,
we
man.
just didn't take our lives or other people's sometimes into consideration because of the cloak of booze.
Yeah, man. And it's just so. Do
Go.
you think that alcoholism is something that you are born with, or do you think that it's something that progresses? The more you do it, the more you do it, the more you become addicted, or is it just one of them things that you're born with?
Hmm.
Addictive personality.
I think I can only talk to myself. I think I had a well, I have ADHD, and I think there are chemical imbalances or were chemical imba thing is, you know what I mean? Like I got sober, so that it's a difficult one to decide. I think I was there was a chemical disposition in me to love drinking,
Yeah,
you know, to fill that void chemically in my brain, to
yeah,
give me the spark I needed. And then the habit grew and it became incredibly difficult to scale back. But I don't think not everyone in the world that has ADHD has been an alcoholic. So I think my attempts at sobriety were somewhat pathetic. Um, I think and there are plenty of alcoholics that have never had any perhaps mental health condition. And yeah,
yeah.
mate, it's a hard question to answer.
Different types, different people, different personalities, different fucking brains.
Different backgrounds, different traumas, different
Yeah,
experiences,
yeah,
different needs to escape. Ultimately, people get sober every day. So if you're listening and you want to be the next one, you can be. People with terrible trauma, people with all kinds of mental health problems get sober every day.
yeah.
So without sounding harsh, what's your excuse?
No, you're just
Because
holding yourself back.
what do you think?
I don't think ADHD or the way that people's brains are and stuff like that is always a negative thing, because there is a lot of positives that come with it as well. It makes you unique. Everyone's brain is different, and the way the world now, if you got tested for anything, they're going to come back with something. When have you ever heard that someone goes to get something tested and they're like, oh no, brain's completely normal? Every, everyone is unique, and that's what makes everyone special in their own way. I think for me personally, my brain is probably quite complex, and overactive. So the drink would slow everything down for me.
Mm,
So hence the reason why it is a go-to easy coping mechanism,
mm,
because I was never taught, or I didn't know of anything else that would replicate it or do something similar.
yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, of course, this is who I am and this is the brain that I was born with, but I basically was reluctant to try anything else other than booze. So a bit of ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more you do it, the more comfortable you are doing it. Easier to get stuck in a rut, harder to get out of it.
Yeah, and I think environment can set the tone as well, can't it? I grew up in 90s Britain where every man and his dog was getting smashed at any opportunity.
Yeah.
It was it still is a cultural issue, of course, national pastime, but your environment dictates so much. But the environment, I think, dictates the habits, maybe.
100%. Environment's a huge thing.
And I think the chemistry in your brain dictates the addiction,
Uh-huh.
the inevitable addiction, maybe.
Yeah. It's more dangerous for some
Inevitable's a
people,
cop out, but you know what I mean.
but it's more dangerous for some people than other people. How many of your mates could have a drink and then still crack on with their life? They grew up quicker than you. You got left behind because you couldn't shake it. They all left you behind. They grew up, got a house, got married, had kids, got careers that they wanted. Yeah, fair enough. It's not, no one's got the perfect life, but you was left behind. You couldn't even begin to think of how you were to do that, and that's because of different. I feel like that might be just because it had a grip of you more because of the way that you are.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would say that most of my good friends from school and in their my friends that I acquired in my 20s, most of them were able to do what you just said. And when I say most, I mean 95%.
And did you?
I would also say that 80% of them loved getting rinsed
Exactly.
as often as they could. But, you know, I've got I've got various friends that are, would be in that stranger's kitchen with you at 5 a.m. on a Sunday, but they'd be at work on Monday.
And that's confusing, isn't it?
Also, if you're the one that can't be at work on Monday, that makes you feel weaker and more pathetic.
Exactly.
Because comparison is the thief of joy. Like, oh, why is this person able to get their life together when I can't? And then you start comparing, and that for me was a big thing. I lived with a lad for 4 or 5 years, and he was just one of life's winners, and could easily
Yeah.
get on it at the weekend, but he was in Birmingham on Monday morning for a meeting when I should have
Yeah.
been in Gloucester, and I was lying in bed in a pool of piss.
Yeah. And you're thinking, how the fuck can he do that?
Yeah.
And that's one of the big things that I think holds people back or stops them from becoming sober, because you're comparing and you're thinking, how comes he can do it? I'm not doing nothing different. I'm doing the exact same thing as him, but I just cannot do it. I can't do what he does. I can't recover as quickly as him. My mental health is deteriorating whilst he just seems to get over it, and it seems unfair. So I think that's something that can stop you from getting sober until you just accept that you've got a certain brain chemistry, whatever. I don't know the actual logic behind it. I kind of do. But you just have to accept, don't you, that some people can, some people can't. You can't drink, it will hold you back too much. You can't have a few fucking drinks on Christmas. You can't just have a couple of pints. No matter how many times people ask you, you can't just have a couple, because that is who you are. As soon as you accept that,
And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Accepting it.
yeah.
When you accept it, I remember having this like epiphany in the first week of being sober, which I've talked about so much. But on that sofa in Seville, fighting the withdrawals, and I just remember sitting on that sofa. My flatmate was in another town because he'd gone away because he didn't want to be anywhere near me
Yeah.
after my awful weekend, my last weekend on the sesh. But I remember the lightness that I felt, and this is before the first AA meeting I went to. So I stopped drinking on the Tuesday. I went to the meeting on the Saturday, maybe Thursday or Friday. I just kind of fell into the bed of alcohol acceptance. I just was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it just took the weight off me. So when you, and I don't think accepting it, you can't choose to accept it. It kind of happens to you. you reach like the nadir, you reach the low point, and you're like, oh fuck. Oh, right, okay. You can't force. I don't think you can force that. It's a bit contradictory because I tell people to just accept it, but it's important to remind them that they can try and accept it. But I don't know. I just remember feeling much lighter and ready.
Yeah.
Once I'd said to myself, "Dickhead, you this has ruined your life."
Yeah. The reality check.
Yeah, weird how long it takes.
Yeah, and it just finally makes sense. Like, oh, so the reason why I'm miserable and I hate life every day and have done for the last 10, 15 years is because I drink every day. But that was us though, weren't it?
Yeah.
I know. I don't, mate. I've met you once, yeah, and I know that was you. I know for a fact that was you. And it's just crazy that fucking light bulb moment. Like fucking catchphrase, top answer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Family fortunes.
Family fortunes. Fuck.
Come
You
on.
you blame everything under the sun apart from booze for how you feel.
Yeah, or yourself, because the booze doesn't pick itself up. You have to take some responsibility. You are
Yeah,
complicit.
yeah.
You are complicit with every
Fucking
drink.
sometimes it does pick itself up. You feel
Yeah,
like it
yeah,
does.
yeah.
But no, it's a funny old thing. Funny old thing.
I saw
And
something the other day about. It was a comment going. I follow this woman who's a recovered heroin addict. Her account's ace, man. I really like it. She's American, and people commenting on one of her posts saying, "Oh, no sympathy. When you take a drink, when you chose to put that needle in your arm the first time, and so therefore it's like, come on, what about trauma? What about childhood? What about environment? You've been
mate,
that fucking lucky, have you, to be in your perfect little bubble that you don't think someone just
yeah,
reaches out for something to ease
yeah,
some pain? It's like,
yeah.
come on, give
Mate,
people a break."
I remember when Amy Winehouse died,
So do I, vividly.
and me being an absolute tosspot with no life experience, no trauma, really, not that I can think of, put a Facebook status up saying that's what happens when you're a drug addict. That's what I put up. Yeah. Karma bites me in the ass. Next minute, not next minute, but a couple of years later, I'm a raging alky and I'm doing drugs every weekend.
It'd be
Because you
interesting.
don't understand until you've been through it. But alcoholics don't want to be an alcoholic. Drug addicts, heroin addicts do not want to be that person. They would love to be able to live a normal-ish life without having to be addicted to something.
Of course, nobody wants that for themselves.
No.
These are all life situations that have got out of control. Because it doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual, isn't it? It's slow, and it creeps up on you. And then you're doing all the, like, to go back to the point, the original topic of the episode. One thing that one risky thing that happens gets forgotten about by Tuesday, and then in the next 6 months, just all starts to seep in, and you've got no control over it, and then suddenly 3 years have passed, and that's how it happens. That's how it happens.
Yeah, man.
You don't get smashed for the first time and go, "Oh, I didn't like that. I don't want to be an alcoholic." Some
No.
people might. Some people might go, "Oh, this doesn't agree with me. I don't like
Yeah,
it."
yeah.
But it didn't. It's weird because it didn't agree with me. I knew it made me like aggressive and antagonistic and not violent towards people, but like just courting drama.
Yeah.
I knew I could say some wild things that would ruin a house party. I could say 2 sentences and that was it. The whole house was done for the night. You're like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
that was heavy, Gary.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just poison. It's poison and it fucks you up.
Yeah, man. Mentally, physically, in every fucking way, shape, and possible. Ignore that.
Ignore that. I'm not going to cut that out because it was funny.
Keep it in there, mate. I'm ill. If you didn't know.
I just want. It's really important, especially younger people that maybe don't have a grip on their, finalized set of emotions. You're playing with fire.
Yeah, man.
And if you're the type of characters like us who are, we weren't shy after a few beers. You really are, especially fighting. I think I got away with murder. Some of the scrapes that I got into, how I didn't end up with some lasting damage, it is beyond me. Really sad. Really sad.
No, I get you, man.
But people idolize it, don't they? They idolize the sesh. They idolize the emotion and the feeling that you get when you take ecstasy. They cocaine's glamorous. No, it ain't.
Mate, cocaine is fucking shit. Mate, maybe if you go to South America, man, yeah, maybe it might be a hell of a drug. But all these people that think they're sniffing 10 gear, you're probably sniffing 5% coke and 95% rat poison.
Rat poison or Persil or cut with fentanyl. Like, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Dangerous, man. I know a guy whose cousin passed away doing coke, and it was actually laced with fentanyl. What do you know what's in? How do you know what's in it?
No one's gonna, no one at 3 a.m. is gonna whip out a cocaine testing kit, are they? And then be like,
No.
let me just quickly check this before.
Yeah, and it's funny, isn't it? So many people say, "How did you stop taking cocaine or stop drinking?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're eliminating the risk. It's another risk, isn't it? Death by coke, generally speaking, didn't start by just doing coke. There are a lot of people that are addicted to purely cocaine, but there are a lot of people that do recreational cocaine only because they've had a drink.
Yeah, mate. Drinking is the root. Drinking is the root cause of 9 times out of 10. It's the root cause of all of it. I never used to. I would never. Mate, I'd hate smoking. I would hate smoking. I was into my sports massively from the age of fucking 3 years old. I hated smoking. When I was 15, 16, I'd have a few beers and I'd buy 20 fags, smoke them all in the same night.
Mm.
That's fags. Next, what's it next? Coke. What's it next?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Well, luckily, it didn't get that far.
No, exactly.
But yeah, it's a risky business.
For some people, it does, doesn't it? Like it does, and it just takes everything.
It's taking nothing from us anymore, mate.
Touch wood.
We did it. We broke free, and you can too.
Yeah, you know.
And be aware that the risks are there if the drinking is heavy.
Yeah, man.
There may be a lot of lads in their 20s this will resonate with.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because I think that's it's a fucking cancer on this country. I think, like, when I went out. 2 kids, tight little. Don't ever go out at night. But I went out one night. I can't even remember why, last year, and I was walking through town, and it was about 11:15 at night, and I felt uneasy. I don't live in where I live is low key, calm. It's not like centre of Manchester, centre of Leeds. Like loads of shit kicking off. But I walked down the main drag where all the bars were out. I could just sense the tension. People like on the verge of a row outside, having a fag outside the bar. I'm like, ugh, just like they made me feel grimy. It was horrible.
I know the exact feeling. Yeah, it's probably a good way to end it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, let's end it on that. Get out of the griminess. Reduce your chances of something bad happening to you by kick and drink. Everything will be fine. You'll be all right. The other side is beautiful.
The other side is bliss.
Bliss. Right. Let's put out a call. So last week, Craig mentioned that we'd like to have guests on. So this is an official request, isn't it? If you'd like to be on the Sober Stretch as a guest, please shoot us a message on the Instagram at the Sober Stretch, and we'll go through them all. We have had various people messaging us in recent months saying, "Oh, I'd love to pop on." We'll add you if you have been one of those. We'll add you to the list, and we'll try and squeeze you all in the coming months. You can find us at the Sober Stretch on Instagram. We're also on Spotify and YouTube, where this podcast goes out every Sunday at 3:00. Please follow, share, subscribe. It's great for us. It's good for other people. And just so you don't, before we go, I am at SoberNSound on Instagram. All things alcoholism and sobriety related. Craig, hit us. Where can we find you?
I'm at livewithoutlimits_coaching.
Cool. All things physical
I forgot that.
to smash those mental health issues.
Healthier habits.
Nice one. All right, mate.
Cool, man.
No Manchester United punishment this weekend.
Fucking lovely.
Viva international break.
Lovely. Good man. I will
Take care.
catch you on the other side.
Safe. Take care. Bye.